Good evening. My name's Tom Stoukas, coming to you live from Sarnia, Ontario on March 10th, 2025. And yeah, big day yesterday. We didn't elect anybody. The Liberal Party chose Mark Carney as their new leader, so he will become the next Prime Minister of Canada. So that's big. And I'm very I'm not a I'm very not upset, but I'm not happy that I'm happy that Trudeau's gone, but you be careful what you wish for, because Trudeau was a globalist puppet, but he was a dummy. Might be a globalist puppet, a little higher up the ranks maybe, but he's not a dummy. He's actually got a brain. He actually went to school. He didn't have the Trudeau name to ride on. And I'm not, I think he's totally evil, like all of the policies. But when it comes to his brain, he's way smarter than Trudeau. So I think that makes him more dangerous. So I think they brought him in as like the cleanup man, like to do the hard work that Trudeau couldn't get done. So he's got to get in first, and then he's got to win an election. I don't know. He seems pretty confident he has a good chance. He thinks he can do it. So a lot of gullible Canadians apparently, because basically you're getting the same Trudeau brand, basically the same team, just a different quarterback. Kind of makes a difference, different quarterback in football. I don't know if it will in politics, but as for a globalist, went from a Trudeau globalist, like being a globalist, to Mark Carney, who's like an ultra globalist. Like, he lives and breathes that stuff. Trudeau, you could argue, did it as he was being blackmailed, or he was being paid or rewarded. But Carney, he does it, I think, because I think he actually believes in, like, they're better. These globalist elites, they're better than billions of other people on the planet, and they're going to decide what they think's right for all of us, even if it means getting rid of some of us. So I think he's actually like higher up in the belief system, which is bad news for Canada. But time will tell. He might be a flash in the pan, like a Kim Campbell or John Turner. It's weird time in Canadian politics. It's so strange. Now it's him and Poilievre, and Poilievre's pretty well vanished from the whole. Oh God. Poilievre's pretty well vanished from the whole scene. Not necessarily vanished, but kind of been shuttered to the side with all this drama with Trump. And the Liberals, to their credit, have taken kind of the bull on this to, capitalize on the Trump tariffs. Whereas Pierre, I don't know what the hell he's doing. Like, he bases policy so much on axe attacks and no Trudeau. Now there's no Trudeau, and they're going to reshuffle the carbon tax into something different. So it's like, the big thing is the no Trudeau. Like, I think he based his whole campaign too much on no Trudeau, instead of like tarring the whole brand. Now he's tarring the whole brand, but before he was just focused on Trudeau, which is, I guess hindsight is always clear. So, and then we got Doug Ford in Ontario, my province. For some reason, he's going super hard on the rhetoric against the Americans, and I don't understand why. First of all, he can't really back it up. Like, there's a lot of reasons, but he can't back it up. Second, it's not going to help the situation, I don't believe. I don't think you're going to force Trump to change his policy based on threats from you. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it making, if anything, it makes things worse. His latest thing with this electricity thing is retarded, and it's making us look like really bad, I believe, and it's especially when we have the auto sector that they could pull from us if we if he continues down this kind of weird strategy of antagonizing the states. He's really on Team Trudeau on this. Like, even he said Trudeau, Doug Ford was congratulating Mark Carney on becoming the new prime minister. And then he's saying how Trudeau put aside his ideology to serve the country or for what's best for the country. I was like, what, are we talking about the same guy, Doug Ford? Like, Doug Ford's got his, I don't know what, because when Doug and Rob Ford, when they were brothers on the council in Toronto, they were calling Trudeau all sorts of gay names. And now, Doug Ford's been working hand in hand with Trudeau almost his entire premiership. So it's a very odd couple, and Doug Ford's basically governed like a traitorous, fake conservative. So, what do they have on him? Blackmail or something? Wouldn't be hard. I'm sure he's got tons of little skeletons in his closet, or paying him, or both. It's horrible. Like, our political leadership is in tatters. It's a mess. Between Carney, Polyev, and Doug Ford, we're screwed with this kind of leadership. And, don't even get me started on BC, but, BC doesn't concern me as much as Ontario. So, got big problems. So, that's where we're at. I'm not making no predictions. Because, first of all, do we know if Carney's even going to become Prime Minister for long? Like, stay Prime Minister for long? So if he isn't, then you have Polyev. And then you have to ask, is he going to actually do anything different than the Liberals? Which you would hope. I think the only difference you're going to really see is Israel. They're going to be more pro-Israel. Other than that, they'll cosmetically change immigration to make it look like but they ain't going to stem anything. And carbon tax, they'll reshuffle into something different, probably. And those are the two major issues. I mean, that's the question. Like, how will Pierre govern, basically? And that we could have an answer to that, because apparently there's going to be like an election. Like, there's word that's going to be an election in the spring, which would be cool, because it's kind of hard to negotiate like important trade deals with the USA when you got like uncertain leadership questions. Who's going to win the election? Who's going to govern? And Doug Ford didn't need to do that at the provincial level because he had a majority and he had a year and a half left. But these guys needed to do it because they have no confidence of the people. Like, the polls are showing they have no mandate to govern, especially after oh my God, so much damage to this country. So those are the things. We'll go through them on the day of Twitter, or X. And X was hacked today, so I haven't been on it much. It's been kind of annoying off and on. And now I can't even get into to do live broadcasts, so I'm on Twitch. But that's alright. I'm sure they'll... I wonder who did it. I wonder who's a hacker. So we'll start at the start of the day. And we're just like really highlighting those things. The Carney And the tariffs. I went to the supermarket today. I bought $200 worth of groceries, and I was like, I couldn't believe it, because I look at price. I don't have time to look at where the hell things are made, whatever. I don't believe labels anyway. But so I look at the price, and that's how I decide what to buy. I bought some baby products. I bought some all sorts of different things. And when I got home, I looked at it, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. It's like half the stuff comes from the U.S. that I usually buy, like Pringles and what the hell are those called? Some crackers or whatever. I can't remember the name of the crackers. God damn it. And then I was surprised at what comes from the U.S. and Canada. So anyway, I'm not playing that game, because if the way I see it is if they're going to tariff the products, the price is going to rise, and I'll pick the price that's lower. So I don't have time to. I don't have time for that shit. So first post. Climate crap nonstop with this guy, Mark Carney. That's all he talks about. So Mark Carney, climate change from a human mortality perspective will be the equivalent of a coronavirus crisis every year from the middle of this century, and every year, not just in a one-off event. So it is an issue that needs to be addressed now. I don't know what he means by that. Like, how are you going to address something like what's that? Coronavirus every 2 years or something? He's a climate crazy person. Okay, next post. The only thing worse than a career politician is a central banker. Yes, we forgot Mark Carney's a central banker. Central bankers live on a different planet than you and me. Okay, trust me. They travel in first class. They stay in the best luxury hotels. They speak at conferences. They don't know what, like, and they talk about the jobs and the average peasants, but they don't know how the average peasant lives, because the world they live in is like a different planet. And this is Mark Carney. Guarantee, like, he's been all over the world, the best resorts money can buy, and I don't think he knows the struggles of the Canadian. Like, it's going to be interesting. Next post. And this is kind of the main theme today, March 10th. Canada has a population of 41 million people. It is now run by a globalist that has only received 129,000 votes in his entire living lifetime. This is his first ever election. Yet people still chant Canada first. Yes, it's very depressing. And I know it's parliamentary system, I get it, but still, basically, oh God. I don't know why my videos come, why is it, God damn it. This is no good. Okay. Don't know why it's happened. What's happening? So, yeah, a globalist. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. My camera keeps cutting out for some reason. All right. I really don't know what to make of that. So annoying. Okay. Really annoying. sucks. I'm having all sorts of technical problems here. Okay. Apparently my camera's screwed, so. How's that possible? We got big problems. Okay, I think I figured out the problem. It's alright. That's how we learn. Okay. Anyway, back to the program. So yeah, we got a globalist installed as our prime minister. That seems to be the theme of the day. Okay. Failure. A wasted decade for Canada is the legacy of this globalist trader. Leaves. Good riddance. Yes, I say good riddance. Our problems are still here, but at least we don't have to look at his face or listen to his stupid voice. And this is another thing on the side. Romania, they really don't like this guy. They keep barring him from running in the election. He was almost ready to win the presidential election, and then they canceled the election. In Romania, they want to put a big military base, expand the military base there. It's right on the Black Sea, and they want to fight Russia, I guess. He's against it, so you got to get rid of him. Yeah, imagine if they did that to Bernier. If he was set to, if they ever banned PPC, I guess you got to get popular enough to ban, and then they'll ban you. That's what happens. You get popular enough, then they ban you. Until then, they just ignore you. Next post. Oh, Romania. So this explains it. Quick primer on Romania. Right-winger wins elections. Election gets cancelled by EU. New election process begins. EU bans him from running. NATO base being built to wage war on Russia, and Romanians don't want it. The EU NATO demons don't care. Then they lecture you about democracy. Yeah, they're losing a lot of legitimacy in that part of the world. The Serbians already can't stand them. And a lot of people in that neighborhood of Romania, like the people I'm talking about, they might not want to go to war with Russia. Call them crazy, but if they can avoid it. And there's another post on Romania. Next post, democracy dies in Romania after winning in December. Georgescu now banned from May presidential election. May. So it's in May. We'll see how things fold out in Romania. We got to keep an eye on Romania. Very strategic location. What a mess NATO is. Oh my God. And I don't think it's Trump's fault. I think he's just exposing how shitty an organization it is. Next post. U.S. booze. Oh, this is from David Menzies, I'm a kind of a kindred spirit with Menzies on Doug Ford. We both can't stand him. We both think he's a puppet. So, U.S. booze not available at LCBO stores due to tariff tiff, but wasn't that $1 billion of inventory already bought and paid for? Alas, photo ops can be pricey, but now that China has slapped Canada with tariffs, will Ford pull Chinese liquor? If not, why not? Yes. That's another thing. Not only is Ford being kind of an asshole with the Americans, whether they deserve it or not. We talked about it. We don't have the force to back it up. Last time I checked, there's no Ontario Army. So, but he hasn't said shit about China. He's probably getting paid by China. They probably got videos of him. So Doug Ford, because he's a fat idiot and a traitor. Yes, the Chinese probably got to him first. Edmontonian, next post. Edmontonian wins 30 million, says, I want to get out of here. What a son of a bitch. Lucky bastard. $30 million, of course. I'm getting the fuck out of Canada. He's smart. I wish I had 30 million to get. I'd go. All right, next post. All right. I said, okay, Canadians, you're either a nationalist or a globalist. This is like the new communist capitalist dichotomy, but it's basically we're at like a heightened point where you can't really pick and choose. Like you can't play both sides. You got to either choose which direction you want, because we're in the point where the era is upon us, and you got to decide which way you want to follow the road, which road you want to follow. And some people like the globalist. They want to stay home, get paid to stay home, take the robo-taxi to McDonald's or whatever. I don't know. And, not own anything and be happy. And others just, they want the messy, unorganized life, but whatever. Like nation, being part of a nation instead of a global Borg. We got a globalist in charge right now, that's for sure. Ultra globalist. This Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, pictured here alongside notorious child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell. He hasn't said anything about her. This wasn't just any gathering. It took place at Carney's sister-in-law's estate, Cornbury Park, a known hotspot for globalist elites. Is Mark Carney a client of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? I don't know. They run in the same crowd. We'll see. Next post. Justin Trudeau. I leave as leader. Oh my God, I can't stand any of his posts. I leave as leader of the Liberal Party with the same belief and hope and hard work as when I started. Hope for this party and for this country because of the millions of Canadians who prove every day that better is always... Whatever, man. Oh, you destroyed the country. Carney, next post. Mark Carney called the Freedom Convoy seditious. Seditious, that's pretty serious. Pretty serious. Seditious. That's like January 6th. They were trying to do it, frame it as a January 6th. That's pretty despicable. So Mark Carney was called the Freedom Convoy seditious and urged the government to freeze bank accounts. WEF stooge Mark Carney is the actual traitor to Canada, not the Freedom Convoy participants. Yes. He's got 3 passports. He don't care. He do whatever what's good for him and his buddies, not for Canada. Canada strong. Look at this guy. We're screwed. And this is the theme of the day, basically. Unelected banker becomes Prime Minister of Canada. Canadian NPCs seem very happy about this very democratic development and are completely oblivious to the precedent this sets. A little colorful letter, funny. Today a plane got, next post here. A plane, Air India flight was forced to return on a 10-hour trip to Chicago, Illinois because Their toilets were clogged with poop, leaving hundreds of Indians trapped on a plane with no restroom. Oh my God, could you imagine? It was making its way over Greenland when 11 out of its 12 toilets broke down, with the only one working toilet located in business class section for some 300 passengers. You from the wing. So that would be like the flight from hell. Besides the plane crashing, that's like the second worst thing that could happen. And that's what the question was. Would you rather be... I automatically thought of snakes on a plane. Would you rather be trapped on a plane full of poisonous snakes or a plane full of Indians in 12 clogged toilets? I'll take my chances with the snakes, and I hate snakes. Yeah. It depends if the flight was like landing right away. But if you had to like complete the flights and you had like 6 hours left, big problems. The pilot would have to have the oxygen mask. All right, next post. That's like the flight from, literally the flight from hell. Imagine if you had to take a big...
size businesses.
Oh, sorry.
My government will immediately eliminate...
None of these people cheered when Pierre ran on removing the carbon tax, but now it's okay because their party said it was okay. This is group thinking. It's a plague in Canada. It really is. Just like with the COVID, just like with the boycott, the American stuff, just like, it's like they do, it's like a programming. You know, I saw a bunch of chemtrails today. It's like 5, 6 different ones, and a beautiful clear sky today in Sarnia, Ontario. And I thought maybe, is this why people keep voting for these guys? Let's see what he says.
Tax on families and farmers. My government will immediately eliminate the divisive consumer carbon tax on families and farmers and small and medium-sized businesses.
Divisive carbon tax. They were defending it, like they said. And now we got Doug Ford, who's trying to be Rambo. He's really a retard, but he thinks he's Rambo. Look at this guy. Canada's not for sale. Will Americans continue to buy Ontario electricity if the price goes up due to Ford's tariffs? Look at this. Okay, U.S. system operator manages electricity for 45 million people across 15 states, including Michigan, reported that less than 1% of its energy in 2024 came from Canada, with even less from Ontario. Less than 1%. Michigan's consumer energy has also stated it does not rely heavily on Canadian imports and monitors costs to keep prices low, suggesting it could pivot if Ontario's prices rise. So yeah, he's acting all tough, like, oh, we're going to cut their energy off and they're going to sit in the dark. So according to this, we're just like one of many sources that they have of energy, and they just pull it in because we have it for sale as surplus energy, and we'll probably give them a good discount. So they're like, whatever, if he's going to put it up too high, we'll just get it from somewhere else. Like, it's not like the amount. Like, so he really sounds stupid is what it sounds like. It's different if they said Ontario supplies us with a quarter of our electricity. That's big, big difference. But according to this, it's less than 1%. And he's acting like he's going to shut the switch on them. Like, come on, man. What a dummy. Like, it's like he's I can't believe he got elected. So, oh my God. He just needs to shut his mouth. I'm sure he won't. Next post, Martyr Made. He's getting a little flack because I guess he's going on Rogan, and people keep calling him all these names. I like him. Why is it that every time the side we support wins, doesn't matter if it's Azeri, Syrian rebels, Iraqi militias, or the IDF, it seems to end with Christians being massacred? Yes, those videos in Syria are horrible. I hope it doesn't get worse because it's horrible. The West destroyed Syria for their stupid just like they destroyed Libya, just like they destroyed Iraq. That's, just Palestinian territories destroyed. Lebanon destroyed. Ooh, I wonder why we have all these Muslim refugees coming here. Because we destroyed all their... And this is next post. War is nothing but a racket. It is. Every time they convince you, oh, this war is justified, just remember, it's a racket. It's all it is. Some crazy, evil people want to make money. That's all it is. It's Thomas Massey. I'm worried for Thomas Massey. They're going to take him out. Military-industrial complex demands about $50 billion a year in war. As soon as we can spend $50 billion a year in Afghanistan, we start spending $50 billion a year in Ukraine. Watch where the next $50 billion a year goes when we stop sending to Ukraine. The military-industrial complex is always hungry. Probably Iran is next. It's a hungry beast. It's never satisfied. Next post. More people, this is another part of the theme today. More people subscribed to Juno News than voted in the Liberal leadership race. Mark Carney has no mandate to be Prime Minister. Canadians deserve an election now. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he calls an election. John Turner did that. He called an election right away, even though he didn't have to. But it'll be interesting to see what Carney does. He's not Prime Minister yet, so once he becomes Prime Minister, it'll be interesting to see if he calls an election right away. So as far as I'm concerned, this is an illegitimate government in Ottawa. It is. I don't even know who these guys are. And this is today. Musk has X under massive cyber attack. Yeah, it's been shit today. I can't even go live. I don't know why. Next post. Sky News. Former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney to become new Prime Minister of Canada. Sky News is British. And yeah, I was reading the comments in there because they know Mark Carney from his days as the Bank of England Governor. And yeah, you should read some of the comments. They're very not good. Not a lot of love from Mark Carney from the UK. Well, they'll say, we told you. We'll see. The first step is, will he stay on? Will he become elected Prime Minister? And second, what damage is he going to do? Which I think he'll do a lot of damage. So it's two steps. Will he stay on? Will he win an election? Second, will he destroy the country after he wins the election? So I don't want to get too far ahead with it. Next post. Poilievre was asked today whether he would remove the carbon tax on industry, but he said to wait for the party's electoral platform. Yeah, too many wishy-washy answers. That's one thing you gotta like about Trump is he doesn't do wishy-washy. He gives you the answer, whether you like it or not. And this is a nice cartoon. Next post. Pierre Poilievre always seems to fail the worst on the biggest issues. He does, really. He's like... He's very reactive. Like, he only comments on something. Like, the gender thing, when he only comments on it if he has to. So, when Trump said it, so he's like, okay, now I got to say something. So, he's like, vaccinate Canadians faster, fight Trump harder, more money for Ukraine, speed up immigration. He actually says all these things. It's true. Next post. Danielle Smith. Little crack in the Team Canada that's cracking wider. Today, Premier Doug Ford said one day Alberta might have to give approval for a federal tax on oil and gas headed from Alberta to the United States. I understand that our new Prime Minister Mark Carney has mused about the same thing. Let me be clear, Alberta will never agree to such an absurd and self-destructive idea. It's not an option. I'm not going to agree to do something that will cost hundreds of thousands of Albertans and Canadians their jobs almost overnight. This would be like placing export tariffs on Ontario auto parts, also a bad idea. So she's against all this, trying to win a trade war against the states, especially using energy as a weapon. Because, like we said, electricity ain't gonna cut it. Ontario and Quebec could cut off their electricity. It's only 1%. The real is Alberta oil. That's the prize, and they don't want. Danielle doesn't want to use it as a bargaining chip with the Trudeau team, or the Carney team now. But Doug Ford's all in with the Carney team, just like he was all in with the Trudeau team. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. The guy's got he's got no backbone. Like, he's not a leader. Like, I don't know what he is. Coward, traitor, I don't know what he is. So anyway, this is a little crack in the Team Canada, because Scott Moe echoed the statement of her. So the Team Canada's not as. Here's more Doug Ford. If the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely. So he's saying this, even though it's less than 1% of their take. Let's see what this fat idiot. And then you got Stephen Letzi.
Need to sit down, work together.
He looks really comfortable sitting there.
And it's hurting families on both sides of the border. It needs to end. That's why I've been crystal clear. Until these tariffs are off the table, until the threat of tariffs is gone for good, Ontario will not relent. We will not back down. Pausing some tariffs, making last-minute exemptions, it won't cut it. We need to end the chaos once and for all. We need to sit down, work together, and land a fair deal. A deal that gives businesses the confidence to invest. A deal that gives workers the security they need and deserve. Until then, Ontario will keep up the fight. We will apply maximum pressure to maximize our leverage. That's why today we're moving forward with a 25% surcharge on electricity exports. For the 1.5 million American homes and businesses that Ontario powers, homes and businesses in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. This surcharge will cost families and businesses in these states up to $400,000 each and every single day. On an average, this will add around $100 per month to the bills of hardworking Americans. Let me be clear. I will not hesitate to increase this charge.
Oh.
If necessary, if the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely. Believe me when I say I do not want to do this. I feel terrible for the American people, because it's not the American people who started this trade war. It's one person who's responsible. That's President Trump.
Oh.
I'd rather be working together. I want to sell the U.S. more energy, more electricity, more critical minerals.
Okay.
What is it?
All right, so, yeah, like, I got to go soon because my circuit board's going to come on here. But, yeah, we're screwed with this guy. We are screwed. Like we said, we barely supply them with energy. And we have a pipeline that comes right into Sarnia here from Michigan. And that's the only pipeline that comes from the west that brings oil to Ontario. So if they want to shut that pipeline, it'd screw us way more than these electricity exports. Anyway, technical problems tonight. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and hopefully no glitches. All right? You guys have a nice night, and we'll talk to you guys